So you guys know I still got that sale going on until July 10th, but after that, I'm going to have a few more designs, and after that, I'm going to have a back-to-school special sale for you, and after that, we're going to have some sick Halloween merch. Can't wait for that one.
We would be honored if you would join us.
Ever since Obi-Wan visited the Kaminoan cloners in Episode 2, we've wanted to know more about the mysterious Jedi Master Sifo Dyas, the long-dead Jedi who had placed the order for the clone army on behalf of the Jedi Council, but did so without their authorization. So who was he, and why did he order the clones? George Lucas promised his backstory in Episode 3, but ultimately it fell by the wayside in favor of Anakin's story, so we didn't get much until the Clone Wars. Now, the new canon is further filling out his backstory to help us know him as a person, and how his gift of foresight was really unique among Jedi. Not only that, how his gift was also his curse. In the canon audiobook Dooku, Jedi Lost, which you guys have heard me say like a million times by now, we learn that Sifo Dyas and Dooku were best friends from the time they were younglings. Dooku said, "I struggled to make friends in the early days of my training. I had no need of camaraderie. Even then, I was there to train, to be the very best I could be. While my clanmates huddled together after lessons, I could be found ensuring my tunic was sharply pressed and boots polished. I had masters to impress, after all. Only one boy saw through my bluster, an initiate as likely to cause trouble as I was expected to excel. Perhaps I needed someone to burst my bubble. Perhaps I needed a companion. But whatever the reason, we became inseparable. That initiate was Sifo Dyas. He was Minishi, and was the son of a fisherman prior to coming to the temple. Dooku was told not to form attachments, but he felt that Sifo was different. He even called him Sai as a nickname. Can you imagine Count Dooku using a nickname for someone, let alone having a friend? The two got into plenty of trouble together, even breaking into the Sith relics collection in the Jedi archives when they were still younglings. That was definitely one of my favorite parts of the audiobook because the whole thing just kind of feels like Harry Potter, but in a Star Wars universe and with Dooku and Sifo Dyas. They eventually get caught, they're using force powers, and it's very, very cool. Sifo Dyas' force visions of the future started around this time and quickly became more than he could control. One day he's showing Dooku how to use a Pelekian meditation stone when he's hit with a massive vision of solar storms, cities falling from the sky, an entire planet burning, and tons of people dying. It overcomes him completely and he loses his grip on reality. He had visions like this before, but his master Lin Costana has kept them a secret from the council out of fear of what they'll do to Sifo Dyas. But Sifo sees so much destruction in this vision, she has to tell the council in case the vision is real. They determine that Sifo has seen the planet Proto Branch in his vision, the planet best known for supplying the galaxy with Bacta, the medicinal healer that the whole galaxy needs. To Sifo Dyas' surprise, though, the council doesn't believe it's a true Force vision, or rather that it's their responsibility to do anything about it. They say it's the Senate's job. Dooku frustratedly says, "If I was on the council, I would listen to what the Force had to say. I would heed its warning." Sifo's master, Master Costana, agrees and goes around the council's back to tell the Pronto Branch's ambassador about Sifo's vision. The ambassador believes Sifo's vision because of its immense detail, and after some back and forth, Yoda accompanies Dooku, Costana, and Sifo Dyas to the planet. They land on the sunny planet of Proto Branch. Crops of the cereal grain Bacta stretch for miles in all directions. Cities and Bacta research hospitals float high above the ground on top of large anti-gravity platforms so that every parcel of land could be used for cultivation. Most importantly, there's not a storm cloud in sight. Even the Prime Minister isn't worried about any fire or storms since the weather is carefully controlled on the planet, like on Coruscant. Sifo Dyas' vision must be a mistake. But then, suddenly, a solar storm is detected, which blasts an EMP throughout the entire planet. Now, EMP just means electromagnetic pulse. All the anti-grav platforms holding up the cities fall, and entire buildings and their occupants plummet to the ground. Explosions cover the entire planet. Yoda and Master Costana use a force bubble to protect the Prime Minister from the flames. Dooku and Sifo go into the fallen hospital to save a bunch of doctors and children in the Bacta before the entire structure collapses. Much of the population dies, and the senator who wasn't on world during the storm is only concerned about the Bacta and how much was lost. He doesn't even care about the people. Dooku is upset that the Jedi didn't act quickly after after Sifo Dyas had his vision. This connects Dooku and Sifo Dyas even more, since Dooku was one of the only ones who believed him. Throughout the years, Sifo Dyas underwent immense torment during and after his visions. They would completely overcome him and were usually completely involuntary. Sifo had no control over when they came or what he saw, which is why Dooku and Kostana further felt they were from the Force. Sifo wasn't trying to have the visions. Dooku and Master Kostana had to pull him out of his terrifying trances on multiple occasions, like trying to help someone get through a seizure. Sifo would get so completely lost in the visions to the point that they couldn't get through to him. In one vision, Sifo even sees a vision of hundreds of thousands of soldiers and blood washing over him. Could this be the first vision he saw of the Clone Wars? The book doesn't go into any more detail, but I think so. Even after his knighthood, Master Kostana took Sifo Dyas on a long journey in search of Sith relics, so that she could watch over him and so that the Council wouldn't find out about his debilitating visions. Over the years, the visions only got worse. She felt he was vulnerable, and that the Council would lock him away because they would think that he'd be dangerous. The Jedi had opened a new correctional unit in the Citadel for those with foresight. She couldn't handle the thought of him being there. Sifo and Dooku's relationship would continue all the way through Dooku's time in the Jedi Order. In fact, Sifo was even with Dooku when Dooku contacted Yoda to tell him that he was leaving the Jedi, which I hope you guys enjoyed that video as well. So for Sifo Dyas, the only constant in his life were Dooku, Master Kostana, and his terrible visions of pain and torment. Now, my main question here, after learning all of this about Sifo Dyas, is how did he overcome all of it? We know that he eventually becomes a member of the Jedi Council, so I would suspect that he gets his visions under control, since the Jedi at this time were so against using foresight to see the future, which was also one of Anakin's major problems, or major gifts. If he didn't fix this, or at least hide it, why would they invite him to be on the council? Also, how does Sifo Dyas' relationship with Dooku lead to the creation of the clone army? Does Dooku influence him to have the visions of the Clone Wars, or does the Force itself give him these visions? While Legends filled in some of these blanks, canon is just beginning, and Dooku, Jedi Lost, sets itself up perfectly for a sequel that should answer all of this. Let me know in the comments below what you think will happen, what your most favorable moment of Sifo Dyas is, has been, or will be possibly, a theory you could write down below, and I will see you all in the next one. Please hit like if you enjoyed this, and until then, remember, the Force will be with you always.